We are the greatest sports analysts since the Dalai Lama and Carmen Sandiego.
I don't know what that means.
No, I don't either. I just hope that it makes sense eventually. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And when you put the two together, it averages out.
Game.
Okay.
I think when you're looking at this Super Bowl, it's just one giant testament to Seattle's defense and what they were able to do all year, including the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. They shut down the number one offense, Peyton Manning, the whole. You need to make the right decision. Even the ref needed to make the right decision in throwing him out of the game. I'm glad that the Big 12 went back, reviewed it, made the decision to suspend him for 3 games. But I like what he did after the game. He came out with a public statement apologizing professionally, and all of it's all bad timing for Oklahoma State. Yeah. Definitely. They're a struggling team right now. They just dropped out of the top 25 poll. They're definitely going to need him moving forward. He's one of the best players in the country, like Dan mentioned earlier. Definitely, this goes back to the whole professionalism with athletes. All eyes are on you, and they're so professional, so strong on the ice. Hard team to beat every year. I don't think they're going to end up winning gold, honestly. Ovechkin, he's really not a big pressure guy. I don't know. I don't see him coming out and playing in this tournament as you would think he could. And I think that Russia only really has 2 strong lines, and I think that's going to hurt them
depth.
Depth as well as the lack of goaltending compared to the other teams. Mm-hmm. I think that they fall in the middle of this in the middle of the pack here as far as goaltending goes. It's his draft stock at all. Yeah. Still a great player. NBA teams are, he handled it professionally after the match. Anybody, that could have happened to anybody, realistically. Comparing him to Ron Artest was hilarious, though, I must say.
Yeah, and the one thing that
Russia has this almost insurmountable pressure to live up to the reputation. They're hosting this.
Russia is
their
looking.
Their goaltending, it looks weak.
Yeah, but the
give it to the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
Why don't they have everyone up there? Sherman and crutches and all. Give them the trophy. Walk off. I think that the NFL should be a professional environment for all players. Historically, they would not. They would just say, "Oh, we want the draft pick." But I think right now they're making a push to become one of the top teams in the league, and to do that, they're going to need to sign Morales. Period. U.S. Sweden, Canada, Russia are my 2 picks for the semifinals. I have U.S. versus Canada in the finals. Jeez, again. And Canada taking the gold again, even though that burns to say, if you will. And the U.S. taking the silver, and I got Russia winning the bronze. They're not leaving this without a medal. Yeah. But I don't think that they're going to win the gold, and it's going to be very disappointing for that country. This is a team that came into the preseason looking really good offensively. They were supposed to be a top 10 team all year. They were kind of waiting throughout the year, and then now they just finally fell off. And with the loss of Marcus Smart, I don't know if they can get back to the top 25, to be honest, to make a run this year. And in the probably the most competitive division in baseball.
Mine was on a bye.
Honestly, I'm going to have to disagree with both of you. I think the U.S. looks actually pretty strong. Originally, I had some doubts. They left Bobby Ryan off of the roster, which was kind of a surprise move for the U.S. But you look at the goaltending they have. They can play either Quick or Miller. Miller historically plays great in these tournaments.
Yeah.
They ended up in the final last Olympics in Vancouver. But you look at the depth of this team, they're all good skaters. On the bigger ice, I think that skating is going to come into big play rather than the Russians. They're more of a shooting team in my mind. I think Patrick Kane's going to show up. I mean, this is a huge venue for him. This is his time to prove himself as one of the top players in the world. I'm just sitting here looking at this, and I think that we have better goaltending than Russia. I think Russia's top goaltender right now is Bobrovsky. I think he will end up being top 5 quarterback by the end of this. He's not done. He'll come back next year, have another record-setting year, in my opinion, take the Broncos right back deep into the playoffs. I don't think there's a question about it.
Here's my thing. My question is, do they deserve a number 1 seed? Do you think
they would deserve a number 1 seed?
Okay.
I mean, if they gave him a 2 seed, the selection committee would be wrong. They went undefeated.
Okay.
You got to give it to them.
But Wichita State
offensively, I think that's really the move that they should make. They have the pitching. They
Yeah.
have the depth of the bullpen, in my opinion. They have the outfielders. It's the infielders that need to
When you
get
look
the
at
runs,
the
you know?
and when you look at the Pirates roster, the weakness is
RBIs.
first base.
Monty
Yeah,
Seaver.
and to all 5 viewers out there, we don't get paid for this.
Wait, they can't see us, so it's listeners. It's not
Listeners,
viewers.
viewers.
Yeah, listeners. They can't see us.
All right.
They don't want to see us, quite
You're right,
frankly.
you're
we
right.
have we have the faces for radio.
Yeah, that's why
in
I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, speak for yourself. I like Drew Doughty. Throughout the entire tournament, he was scoring goals for them, coming out of the defense. He was so poised on the defensive line, making good decisions. That's the big thing about defenders on the bigger ice. You can't mess up. You can't. And
I would.
But you got to give credit to Carey Price.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely, yeah.
Coming into the tournament, Canadian goaltending was kind of a question for this team.
It was big
You know,
time, big
that
time.
was Their only weak point, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a weak point. It's just
The
they're not
weakest thing,
consistent. Like Carey Price didn't come off as a consistent goaltender throughout this tournament for me, and he actually proved himself worthy of the starting job over Luongo.
Well, here's
I mean, you go down the list; they're all just so good. Very even team. Marlowe had a good Olympics. I think Rick Nash played very good.
instead of looking at who was the best player for the U.S., who to you guys was the most disappointing player to watch for the United States team?
Patrick Kane.
I knew somebody was gonna have to say that one.
You know what? I thought, all right, Patrick Kane gets the Olympics. I thought the stage was set. This guy loves the attention. Obviously, we know that. And he just didn't perform.
Yeah.
Against that game where they almost lost to Russia in the group stages, Patrick Kane missed a lot of big opportunities. Granted, he did have the big assist to Pavelski on that power play, but he missed the breakaway at the end of the game. He wasn't himself as far as his puck control. It didn't even seem like him on the ice. He actually didn't even get the nod to take a penalty shot against Russia in that huge game. At that point, that was the biggest.
And
game.
then he had two against
Group
Finland,
stages.
and he could not
That's
put
the main
couldn't do
thing.
it.
Yeah,
either
two
one of them away.
chances.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he had a goal. I can't think back.
I don't believe he did.
I don't
didn't
think
have
he
one.
did.
No, he didn't have a
He had a
goal.
few assists, but again, a guy of that caliber should be showing up in the Olympics for the U.S.